The airport was chaos. Delays, rebookings, crying babies, and frayed tempers clinging to every terminal like static. Jake Carter, 34, single dad, calloused hands, kind eyes, and a baby carrier strapped to his chest, stood at gate B14, praying for a miracle. His son, Noah, just 11 months old, had been fighting a fever since yesterday, and Jake had already missed 2 stand-by flights. He clutched their boarding passes like lifelines. The airline rep called his name. "Carter, Jake," she said. "We've got 1 seat left." Jake blinked. "One?" She nodded. "Just one?" He looked down at Noah, his little body warm against his chest. His heart sank. "You can board now, sir," she said gently. "You'll have to hold him on your lap." Jake didn't hesitate. He mumbled a thank you, tears stinging the corners of his eyes. They were finally going home to Seattle after his father's funeral in New York. Exhaustion weighed him down, but gratitude gave his legs strength. As he stepped onto the plane, murmuring lullabies to keep Noah calm, the flight attendant glanced at the ticket, then at Jake's sagging shoulders. 28B, she said, all the way at the back. He trudged down the aisle, brushing past knees, bumping elbows, muttering apologies. He was nearly there when a woman in first class stood up. "Excuse me," she said, her voice clear and calm. Jake paused, a little confused. "Is that your seat?" she asked the flight attendant, who looked surprised. "No, ma'am, he's in economy." The woman turned to Jake. "Sir, would you and your baby like to sit up here instead?" Jake blinked, unsure he'd heard her right. I couldn't possibly. You paid for this seat." She smiled. "Yes, I did, and I'd like to give it to you." The flight attendant opened her mouth, but the woman held up a hand. "I insist." Jake was speechless. The baby stirred, and for a moment the whole cabin seemed to lean in, listening, watching. "Why?" he finally asked. She looked at him, really looked. "Because someone once did the same for me, and I never forgot it." There was a quiet moment, a breath that passed through every passenger. The businessman in the next seat raised an eyebrow. A college student took out her earbuds. A child peeked from between 2 seats. Everyone was listening now. The flight attendant gave a small nod. "We can make that happen." Jake hesitated only a moment more before he gently slid into the plush seat, adjusting the baby in his arms. The woman took his crumpled ticket and walked down the aisle with the grace of someone who had just changed a life and didn't need thanks to know it. They landed in Seattle 3 hours later. Jake searched the crowd for the woman, but she was gone. A week passed. Then a letter arrived. No return address, just a small card inside that read, "When my daughter was 2, a stranger gave me a seat in first class so I could feed her in peace. It changed how I saw the world. Pay it forward when you can. Always, L." Jake stared at the card for a long time, tears tracing silent paths down his cheeks. 2 years later, Jake found himself boarding another flight, this time with Noah, now a wiggly toddler, chattering about clouds. As they entered the cabin, he saw a young mother juggling a diaper bag, a stroller, and a screaming infant. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. Jake looked at his ticket, first class. Without a word, he approached her, gently tapped her shoulder, and said, "Hi, would you and your baby like to take my seat?" Her eyes widened in disbelief. "Really?" He nodded. "Someone once did the same for me." In the end, it wasn't just a seat on a plane. It was a reminder that in a world often too busy or too bitter, one simple act of kindness can echo across years and strangers. It's not about grand gestures, it's about seeing people, helping when you can, choosing humanity over convenience, and remembering that sometimes the smallest seat can carry the biggest heart.